So once the Electrum server has started, you will see that it is running. You'll be able to get now, instead of the enable button, it'll have info and disable. So we'll go into info, and you can see the status of your Electrum server. So you can see, all right, it's running, the current block is at that height there, and the Electrum server IP addresses. So there's a standard port for 50001 and a secure port for 50002. So what we're going to do is we are going to connect our Electrum wallet through to our myNode. Okay, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to show it through Windows. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show it through Mac as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to connect up our hardware wallet through to Electrum wallet, which will then connect to our Electrum server and then connect back through to Bitcoin Core. So the server, Electrum server, is running on the Raspberry Pi, and so is Bitcoin, and they are talking to each other. Now we need to connect our Electrum wallet, which is on our computers, to our server, to our Raspberry Pi, and then connect our Electrum wallet to our hardware wallet. So let's get stuck into that. So I'm just going to fire up a Windows machine here. Okay, and the first thing that I'm going to do is go into whatever this is, Edge. I don't really use Windows, but and I'm going to go to electrum.org. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the download section, and I'm going to get the Windows installer. Okay, and do you want to? Yeah, I'll save that, and I will run it. Yeah, yes, and we're going to install. Now, before you do install it, it might be worthwhile to just go down and verify the signature. You can do that through the instructions here. There's a tutorial here for Windows. I won't go through it. It says how to verify an Electrum download on Windows. You should probably do that, just so that you know that this is a good version of Electrum. There have been instances in the past where incorrect Electrum or malicious Electrum installs were happening. So it's really important that we verify the signature of specifically this piece of software, or any sort of software that we do download. We should verify the signatures for it. Okay, that won't be part of this, but I will just install Electrum. So we'll just go close. Okay, so once we've installed Electrum, we will see that there is an Electrum icon, and so we will go to the properties of that, right click and go to the properties of that, and we need to amend this target of where it is, of where the application is going to talk to our node. So what we'll do is we will go into our myNode Electrum Server status page, and we will just copy from here -1 all the way through to the end, copy that, and we will paste that through like so. So now this is what it will look like. So after the the quotation marks, we're going to go -1-s, which stands for one server. That server is 192.168.2.104 on the port 50002 with the connection secure, or SSL, which is the secured connection. We'll just apply that and click OK, and then we can open up Electrum. Okay, and it'll ask us for a default wallet, so that's fine. We can just create a default wallet. And what we'll do is I will import a private key, or rather I'll import a Bitcoin address. So we'll do that. The only reason that I'm doing this is because I want to test that the connection actually works back to my node. So I'm going to enter a list of addresses. So I'm just going to find an address from, say, blockstream.info. And I'm just going to go into a block, and I'm going to find something like, for example, this one here. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back in and paste that address through. Click next. A password, I'm not going to bother with that. And so it will say, for security reasons, we advise that you always use the latest version of Electrum. Would you like to be notified when there is a newer version of Electrum available? Yeah, sure, why not? And this wallet is watch only. Fantastic. Now, ideally, what you want to see here is that this is green. Okay. Now, this button here shows us which network that we are connected to. And so if you click on that green button, you'll open up the network settings here, and you'll see that you are connected to one node, and that is the 192.168.2.104 with the height. Okay. If you go into the server section, okay, you will notice that everything here is grayed out, and that's kind of what you want. You don't want to accidentally, not even once, connect this through to another server. And the reason is because we don't know, or we don't trust any of these servers. We only trust our own node, and that's the server. That is the server that we're going to connect through to. So just make sure that you are connected to one node and it's green, and you should be good. And you'll be able to see the status of your transactions here. So this is just a random address that I found. It's got 3 confirmations, the date, the amounts, and so on and so forth. So this is in MBTC. Now, with Electrum, you would want to show addresses, show coins, show contacts. So those are some neat features that you can have a look at. So you can see the addresses, see the actual coin itself, and the history there as well. If you want, you can go into further preferences. If you want fiat, you can choose a currency, and it will show you historical rates and so forth. If you like to go into sats, then you can do that, or if you prefer BTC, then you can see it like so. Okay. So once we've got our network kind of sorted, what we want to do is we want to hook our hardware wallet up to our Electrum server. So I've got a ledger here, and I am going to just plug this in and see if I can connect this ledger up through to our Electrum. So ultimately, what that would mean is that we no longer then need to use the Ledger Live node. We can use our own. So let's try that. So I'm just going to plug the ledger in, and I'm going to put in my PIN code. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the Bitcoin application itself. Okay, and so that's where I'm going to leave it. Just make sure that you've logged in, meaning you've put your PIN in as well as selected the Bitcoin application for this thing to work. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into new. We'll call it the Mon Ledger. Okay, next. It's a standard wallet, so that's the one that I want to create. And we want to go down to use a hardware device. Now, because I'm in a virtual machine, I'm just going to enable the Nano Ledger like so. And hopefully now, when I click next, it will detect. So hopefully that happens, and there it is there. So it says an unnamed ledger. Fantastic. We'll click next. And this is where it asks us for our derivation path. Now, The derivation parts will change, so you can see this is M44, this is M49, and this is M84. Now, the legacy addresses are the addresses that start with 1. So if you're giving out addresses that start with a 1 with your ledger, then you'd use this. If you are giving out addresses or using addresses that start with the number 3, then you'd use P2SH SegWit. And if you are using BC1, then you would use the native SegWit. Okay, so those are your 3 options there. So for this purpose, I'm just going to use the number for the 3. So I'm going to use the P2SH SegWit, which are the addresses that start with 3. So I'm going to go next. This is where you can encrypt your wallet file. You don't have to encrypt it because remember the private key always stays on the hardware wallet. However, it does contain what's known as metadata, as well as a master public key, which shows all your addresses. So if this wallet file, if someone gets hold of that, then they are able to view your transactions. So you may want to encrypt that file. For me, I'm not too worried at this point, so I'm just going to unselect that. Okay. And so now what we have here is our Mon Ledger, and it is blank because I don't have any money on it, which is correct. And you'll see here that the network as well is always connected to that one node, and that's where the information is being fetched. And you can see here that this is a ledger that is being connected there. So now if you look into my addresses, you can see receive addresses, you can see change addresses, you can see my coins if I had any, and yeah, so you'll be able to see also the information, so you can go and look at the YPub that's there. So that's something that you can, so this is the master public key that that is being queried by my own Electrum server rather than somebody else's server. So that's really, really handy, and do keep that private. And so, yeah, you won't be able to see the seed because the seed is always on the hardware device itself. So that is how you would connect up your ledger. Now, if you are successful in doing this, congratulations, what you have done is effectively verified your addresses, and when someone pays you and you give them a receive address, you will be able to use your own node. You're using your own node to verify this, and from a privacy perspective as well as from a network, I guess, strength perspective, it helps us that you are verifying your own transactions, and it helps you to verify your own transactions. So well done. The next part of the video I will do is I will do this. So I've done this in the Windows side of things. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up a Trezor into my MacBook. So stick around for that. I'll show you how it's done in a Mac. Now, for the people on a Mac device, the way that we would install Electrum is very, very similar to what I did with Windows, is that we will go to the electrum.org website. We'll go to the download section, and we will get the executable osx.dmg file, and we will download that, and then we will install that. I've already got that installed. Okay, so once that's been installed, you should see that in through your applications. So that would be in your Launchpad, and you will see a Electrum here for yeah. So that's your Electrum, but we're not going to open that. What we're going to do is we're going to create a script that allows us to connect through to our own node. So the way that we would do that is we will open up this software that is in our Macs. It's called AppleScript Editor. Okay. Everyone's got this. So what I'm going to do is go File, New, okay, and I'm going to use a script that I already have that I've already kind of prepared. So I've got this one server one here, and so all we're going to do is we're going to copy this thing here. We're going to copy it, and we are going to paste that through. Now, the way that this works is it will say, all right, well, this script opens applications/electrum.app, which is something that we've installed. And the arguments are, well, we want to connect to one server, and that server we want 192.168.2.104, and we are going to make that 5002 and S for secure. Okay, so that's the script here that we are going to use, and then we hit play. Okay, and you'll see that Electrum now opens up. Okay, and it will ask. This is just a blank, empty wallet that I have. So you will see now that this is connected to one node, and that is 192.168.2.104, and the servers, all of the rest of them are all blanked out. Okay, fantastic. Very, very similar to what we did with Windows now. Now, the other thing that you do want to do is just save this. So what we'll do is we will file, save, and what we want to do is instead of the file format being script, what we want to do is save it as an application. And so we'll call that Electrum myNode. Maybe myNode BTC, and we'll click save. Okay, so now we have in our applications menu, when we go into our applications, which is in our launchpad, we will have something along the lines of myNode BTC. Electrum myNode BTC. Okay, so when we close out of Electrum, and close out of this, and close out of this, and we want to open Electrum again, what we would do is go to our launchpad and click on this, and that will ensure that Electrum opens up and connects through to our very own node, which is here. Okay, so that's really, really important that we connect through to our own node. Okay, so that's how you would do it on a Mac. Now let's move on to hooking up our, for example, Trezor onto our MacBook. So we will go File, New. Okay, we'll call this the Mon Trezor. 1, 2, 3. Next. We will go Standard Wallet. Next. We will go use a hardware device. Now, I'm just going to plug the Trezor into my computer. Oh, sorry, into my MacBook. And we'll go next. And it detects my Trezor. Fantastic. Ministry of Nodes, Trezor. Fantastic. Excellent. Next. And it'll ask me for my PIN. So I am going to put that PIN in. Okay. And it'll ask me for my passphrase. So if my device is already passphrase enabled, we will put that in. Mine is, so I'm just going to put in my passphrase and I'm going to go OK. Okay. Now here we need to make a decision once again. I've already explained this for the Windows guys, but just to recap, if you've got addresses starting, or if your public addresses start with 1, it's legacy. If it's starting with 3, then it's P2SH SegWit. And if your addresses start with BC1, then you need native SegWit. For Trezor, in specific, it's generally this here. Okay, so to recover your funds, to see them, which we will do in a second, you'll see some of my funds. You will see that it's P2SH SegWit, and that is addresses starting with the number 3. So we'll go next on that. Then it'll ask if we want to encrypt the wallet file. I'm not really concerned about encryption, so we'll click next. Okay, so let's have a look here. Right, now we see that we are connected to our OneNode. Okay, fantastic. We are connected through to our Ministry of Nodes Trezor, and it shows me a balance of $28. Fantastic. So now I am verifying my balance through my own node, which is exactly what we want. You'll see here is my addresses, here are my receiving addresses, here are my change addresses, here are my coins. I have very $25 worth of Bitcoin, or $22 at the moment. And if you see a receiving address that's in red like this, it means that it's already been used. So what you want to do is just go new, and that will generate a new address for you to give out to people. Okay, sending. It's very simple. Just put in the address, put in a description, put in the amount that you want, and away you go. And that will then integrate with your hardware wallet for the signature to be able to sign that transaction. So now we have the Mon Trezor 123 connected up on our MacBooks, ready to go.